Christian Fernandez, and I come from Mexico just to get Burning Crusade.
My name is Jacob, and I came here to get a piece of the collector's edition of Burning Crusade, and we came from Tijuana, Mexico.
Wendy Breezy here on the eve of a truly historic occasion. Tonight at midnight, millions of die-hard World of Warcraft fans across the globe will be the first to get their hands on the long-awaited expansion, World of Warcraft, the Burning Crusade. I've been porting near and far to bring you the most up-to-date coverage of this unforgettable event. If you could only play one game for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Checkers.
I was kind of hoping you would say this game, but all right, moving on.
My dog loves World of Warcraft. Whenever we play it, she likes to roll up underneath the desk and fall asleep playing.
Well, I declare!
Oh! Kill them! How could you kill them? How?
Typically, I don't like gnomes.
Level 60 priest on Frostwolf. I'm here because I'm such a devoted fan.
Oh my gosh, it looks like you've been here forever. When did you get here?
6 a.m.
So do you play Horde or Alliance?
Horde! Horde!
Horde! Hey, hard for the win! Horde! For the Horde! For the Horde! Alliance. Horde. Come on, man.
Ganker or Genki?
Oh, I gank noobs all day, every day. Everyone in line is a noob, and I gank all of them.
Well, I hope you have lots of fun. I don't think many other people will.
Ginker. Definitely.
If they were online, she'd see where they were, and then she'd go just gank them forever.
Because they killed me. No, they killed me first.
I have a girl in RL, everyone. I swear. She's not here, but she's real.
I'm just glad, you know, made it this far. I'm not going back now, you know.
As you can see by their responses, these fans are... Oh, hang on a second. I just received a /tell from the news office. This is it. The moment we've all been waiting for has arrived, and the doors have begun opening. Let's go inside for a closer look.
was so sad I never got a collector's edition. Now I got my own collector's edition for Burning Crusade. I'm so happy.
You guys take care of us, man. You guys really take care of us, man.
My goal is to get 61 before I sleep.
Okay, that's... Oh! Take that! Uh-huh. How does that feel?
Sign off.
How do you like me now, huh? You want a piece of...
Sign off the show.
Oh, sorry. This is Wendy Breezy saying so long, and let the games begin. What did you just... Ow, ow, ow! Hello, healing! You big meanie! Oh, I got a purple in my bag waiting for you. You gonna make me take it out? You want this mace? I'm gonna show you this mace. Here we go. You are not prepared.
Though tensions have risen between the Alliance and the Horde, the true enemy of the world lies unseen. Beyond the dark portal lies a universe of unending conflict, where the shattered realm of Outland has become the battlefield for a dark and murderous crusade. The Burning Legion has returned to claim vengeance, with a host of new terrifying warriors, such as the Wrathguard, Fell Reavers, the Shivon, and Warp Stalkers. While Outland's native denizens, the Ethereals, Nether Dragons, Naru, and the Gron rally countless others to war. Sparked by these events, abandoned sanctuaries on Azeroth now pulse with new life. Karazhan, the darkened tower of Medivh, bristles with arcane energy and the horrors unleashed by its former master. Its cursed halls now teem with the restless shades of the past. Yet, within the fabled caverns of time, the past has come full circle. Despite the efforts of the Bronze Dragonflight, windows into Azeroth's history have opened wide, allowing adventurers to
And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live once again with The Dark Portal, Episode 7. My name is Kargoz. It is very nice to have you all here this evening. Happy holidays to everybody watching. This is a very special episode, as it is our episode dedicated to the Paladin class in Burning Crusade. It's going to be a lot of fun. I am joined today by my fellow co-host, Crix Gaming. How we doing, brother?
Doing great, man. I'm just excited for this episode, man. Christmas spirit, baby.
Absolutely. And then we also have joining Christmas us once spirit, again, someone who's been on, I think, 2 episodes now. Dr. Kale, how we doing, man? Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays as well. It's great to be back on a very fun subject of mine, too. Thank you for the invite.
Of course, man. And then we have a guest, a brand new face here to the channel, to the show. legendary. Do I say, Crix? I mean, this you hyped him up pretty
legendary.
Good. Legendary.
Big dick red god.
Even Dr. Kale is clapping. He approves, man. Legendary with the capital R-E-T. Doesn't even make sense.
I appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
Mr. Blazed. How we doing, Blazed?
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped to be here. Thank you for the invite. I'm really hyped to talk about Ret and show you guys what it's all about.
Hell yeah, brother. Should be a good time. So let's see if this transition works. Probably won't. How's the volume, everybody? We don't.
Yeah, how's the sound, guys?
You know, what you see is what you get, folks. It's not the highest production value thing in the world, but let's see if this transition here works. It did. Okay, you love to see that. Welcome to episode 7, the Paladin Deep Dive. So let's start with a guest introduction. You've heard from Dr. Kale. You know who Crix is. You know who I am. I'm gonna put you on blast. Blazed.
Oh,
all right, my man. If you could, you know, warm up to the stream a little bit and humor us here. What's your history with the game, my man?
I've been playing WoW since Classic WoW. I've been playing, I guess, the retail till Classic, TBC. Played Wrath. Played Cataclysm a little bit. I got Legendary Daggers on a Rogue back then. Pretty much, I've always played melee. That's probably the best class that I'm, best with and stuff like that. I've been playing TBC and Wrath servers on and off pretty much since TBC and Wrath were retail back in the day. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing pertaining to WoW.
All right. I appreciate this. How succinct and clean that was. Also, next thing is, which class fantasy resonates with you the most, and race while you're at it, maybe. By class fantasy, it's just kind of
class fantasy. Well,
yeah. Sorry, go
ahead. Probably Rogue. I played Rogue the most out of all expansions and everything.
All right.
Kind of just enjoy melee and stuff like that.
Fair. Favorite zone. Favorite snack.
Favorite zone. Okay, Zangarmarsh by far. I kind of like SSC as well. Just I like the layout of SSC. I like the mushrooms in Zangarmarsh and shit like that. It's great. I love it. And then favorite snack, I'm going to go with the Oreos or something like that, man.
Not a bad choice, man. Not a bad choice. What kind of Oreos? You're talking double stuff, right? Come on now.
Double stuff, yeah, with the
double
milk.
Stuff?
With the milk, absolutely.
Solid. All right, we're almost through it, man. And favorite version of WoW, and yeah, we can just end with that. What's your favorite version of WoW and why?
Favorite version of WoW, absolutely TBC. I've been playing TBC private servers probably the most out of all of them. It's always been play a little bit of TBC, maybe go to Wrath, but it always gravitates back to TBC.
All right, perfect. Well, thanks for sharing with that. So let's go to the agenda and see where we're at. TBC news. Crix, maybe you can kick us off with this. It's not, I have a slide up for it right now. I mean, we're at the point right now where we're like every little scrap, every little thing where, people are latching onto, right? You hit me up about this the other day.
Yeah. I don't know nothing about it. I asked him about it. He just said all he could divulge was that much.
Yeah.
I think my mic is having a couple issues right now.
It's all good. The stream's used to the scuffed audio. But yeah, anyway, Nano, this is the dev who worked on Nostalrius, one of the devs, and he has been like the plug for the community, looking back on it, for Classic and now allegedly for TBC. I don't know what kind of insider connection he has over at Blizzard, but you remember, chat, where they flew all the NOS guys in and Blizzard had to sit down with them and pretty much who knows what they talked about. He was one of them, and he always teases at new updates and stuff. He tweeted out Baladash Malinore, more info coming out soon. So, it's all speculation at this point. But just to get everybody on the same page, BlizzConline is rapidly approaching. The date is February 19th to February 20th. So what is that, a month and change? 2 months, sorry, 2 months. Yeah, almost 2 months away.
Hype?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Our announcement should be there. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? It's highly, highly likely they're going to announce it then, right? And here's the thing. BlizzConline is going to be free this year. There's not going to be a, you know, I used to have to pay like $20 or $30 or something for it. It'd be totally free. So just throwing it out there if you guys want to watch it. Maybe we can stream it or something.
Oh yeah.
It's
entering the Crix. Are you entering the cosplay? You know, online.
Dress as what?
Whatever you want.
No.
Online.
You're warlock.
No, I'm good.
So that's pretty much it as far as news. Yay, right? Everybody, we're so. It's your breaking TBC news. All right, back to the agenda.
I think you don't really ever see anybody in the comments like saying it's not true, too.
Yeah, I mean, he's a respected figure, Mr. Nano, and he did get flown into Blizzard and probably has the inside look, but okay. And then the last piece of news is they updated some the CDN or something at some points. People are speculating that they're getting a beta set up. Okay, so we can start with this: Classic Paladin versus TBC Paladin. How do you see the differences between the two? Like, when you think of a Classic Paladin, does anything come to mind? We can start with maybe Blazed. Classic versus the TBC Paladin.
I mean, when it comes to Ret, I mean, you don't really mess around with a Ret Paladin in a hardcore raid at all. But when it comes to TBC, you will definitely have a Ret Paladin in the raid. Also with Prot, I mean, honestly, as far as I know, in terms of Classic, I don't think they run Prot Paladins at all. So mostly you're just sitting there casting Holy Light, or Flash of Light, sorry. But, there's a difference between that and TBC because, you bring one of every single spec to a raid generally, so.
All right, love to see the Ret perspective. Dr. Kill, you have any thoughts of the Classic versus TBC?
I sure do. You've got 4 abilities that go baseline. You get Taunt, Consecrate's no longer a talent. You have mana issues fixed for the Ret Pally. You've got a polling option for Prot Pally. You get 16% stamina talents as Prot. Holy Paladins can transition from Flashlight to Holy Light. Spiritual Attunement's another baseline ability. Avenging Wrath enters the game for Prot and Ret. I mean, they definitely gave the class a lot of viable changes when you're going from Classic to TBC. Some of those baseline abilities really kick off some of the classes, or fixing mana issues with Ret Pallies, being able to judge on cooldown, and being more viable and giving them raid utility.
Hell yeah, all good points. I do quickly want to piggyback and just kind of forgive me, Dr. Kill. I should have done something where you introduced gave your intro as well. I just figured some people in chat might know who you are, but if they don't, Dr. Kale is also a super legendary paladin, and we've had him on multiple episodes now. He is the GM and raid leader of Get Carried, and both Blast and Crix are in that guild as well. And he just finished doing another Paladin podcast, I think it was yesterday or something. So yep. He lives and breathes Pally and loves it and has a lot to share. So Crix, man, do you have any thoughts on the TBC Pally versus the vanilla Pally?
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Yes, sir.
I can say that Prot Paladins, obviously, I had to fix. I don't know if my mic is weird, but Prot Paladins, you don't say them in Classic, and now you see them in TBC, and they pump. Ret Pallies, I mean, they pump. I see them on top of the meters more than I see them in Classic, coming from a staring at the meters perspective. I didn't know who Ret Pallies were until T6. I didn't know we had one. You kind of notice them T4. They kind of die off T5. It feels like, I could be wrong. I'm just saying what I see. And
the best part about when you're looking at meters in a Ret Pally, you got to look for the first 10 seconds of the fight because they should be up there. They're having a blast. They're looking at all these beautiful, huge Wind Fury crits, and then they like to slide down. But there are fights where they do very well if they're given infinite mana, or if their seal twisting is working accordingly. But yeah, they're a very fun class when you're looking at damage.
Oh yeah,
I just gotta say, Crix, the only reason you didn't see any Rets at the meters in Tier 4 and Tier 5 is because Blast wasn't there. I'll tell you why.
We weren't. It was Punzi, right?
There it is. And you main Ret Paladin Blast, that's you take out of all the specs, that's your thing, right?
Yeah, for sure. Out of all the Paladin specs, that's what I gravitate to for sure. I mean, I'll do a little bit of Prot, but I'm not. You know, I'm a paper tank. You know.
Yeah. So you're a blood elf paladin. I'm assuming, right? Because it's red. You know, seal blood, all that.
Yeah, we're blood elf. Yeah.
The dream.
We used to be Alliance, and we had. Yeah, we used to be Alliance on Endless, and we got the expertise, which was pretty great, but we went to Horde.
Gotcha.
Ooh.
So,
real men played goats.
So I mean, in vanilla, right? You look at the paladin in vanilla. My favorite aspect of the paladin or specialization is protection. I love the look, feel, playstyle, abilities of protection, and I struggle to make it work in Classic. Now people have found ways to do it, and I think you can technically tank like almost every boss in Classic as a prot pally, you know, spamming Greater Blessing of Kings and, you know, itemizing in strange ways, and you can technically do it, and you can technically play as a ret too, and, you know, there's some silver lining in that you can benefit from both melee and caster consumes and buffs, but ret does struggle in Classic as well. And I guess just the main point I'm going to say is in TBC, those two specializations, ret and prot, really step up a bit, right? Because prot pallies get taunt and some other cool tools, and ret pally, I don't know exactly what changes to ret pally. We'll get into it today, but yeah, okay. So
Kargoz didn't tell you guys, but he's really going to main a paladin.
Yo, I mean, it wouldn't be my last choice.
For sure.
Well, Dr. Kale, what were you saying right before the call? You were saying some big brain stuff about why you think, you know, paladins are going to be so popular and stuff. Maybe you could extrapolate a bit.
I was just... as much as I talk about what the speed meta will be and things like that, it's something I'm actually not crazy about, because like I want to play TBC for TBC. I don't want to be speed running and doing all this and class stacking. I want to go play TBC with my homies and clear it at my own pace, which will be fast. I know it will be, but I'm not that guy that's gonna just blitz down the pipe and do speed runs every week and prep for them. I'm here to play the game and like legitimately enjoy the game, and if that's what people want to do, that's cool. I'm just thinking like early on, it's gonna all be just like it is in Classic right now. What's gonna be the highest threat? And I think spell power prot paladins are going to be the highest threat early on. They don't have to worry about rage or anything like that. They'll have mana, and if you do like pulling High King Mulgore and solo tanking it, like you'll take enough damage to have infinite mana. And I don't know if that'll be possible, but I'm just thinking like something crazy like that. You know, that'll be a speed run or a speed strategy, but it'll just be fun to do.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that, you know, that you're even though you know so much about the game, you're actually not gonna push super duper hard. Now, you said something with me that stuck with me, ever since. You pretty much said that one of the reasons why you liked Paladin before was that you feel like you can carry the guild solo on your back. I just thought that was such a heavy-hitting statement. Could you maybe like share why you think that is the case, more so than other classes and specs, that why you can carry I think you said verbatim, you can carry a guild on your back. Yep. That's a pretty powerful statement right there.
When I look at how I run my guild is I technically do everything, which is mentally not the best choice, but it's what I choose to do. You can run every dungeon fast. You can do every heroic fast. You can run. People don't have to look for tanks. You can farm gold and help people out that way. You can. It's just boost characters. Like if you need to boost somebody to play a class that you lost, you can literally do it overnight and get somebody leveled up at a very fast rate. It's just they literally can do all of some of the harder aspects of the game very easily. Like if you're thinking about T4 attunements or T5 attunements, excuse me, even T4 attunements for Karazhan, they're just solid. They can't be beat.
Yeah,
they're too universal. And with that aspect of attuning, you know, the first 25, 30 people, you legitimately can do it. You could attune 4 people each day or 3 people each day and do it by yourself.
Hell yeah. And
nope.
you know, you commented on how amazing they are at gold farmers. Just to like get your official stance on this, you think at this point they're possibly the best gold farmers in TBC? Prop
100%.
Yeah, I mean there's
Absolutely.
you'll have druids that'll, you know, eventually when Swift Flight form is out, they'll be the gatherers of the expansion, and they will continue to be the gatherers for the rest of all of the expansions. But when it comes to farming gold and your highest gold per hour, 1000%, it's a prop pally. Nothing will beat it. Mages get AoE capped, prop paladins don't.
100%.
Right, and you leveled a pally recently, Crix, right? Or like you said,
Yeah, I did it for that specific reason, actually.
And did you really? You were saying how much you loved it, right?
Yeah, I loved it. It was so much fun. I had a blast. I didn't tank anything serious. I just did heroics, and it was made for the gold farming, and it was so much fun. It was easy gold farming. You don't have to farm a bunch of epics. I just went and got my trinket, that colossal one figurine, and then just started doing strat and Skolo, and it was pretty easy. You obviously can't do big pools. Kale has monster fucking that's like videos of doing the biggest pools. There's no way I can do that, right? But you know, small pools, you're able to do it.
That's what's up, man. Blazed, what about as from the ret side of things? Can you farm okay, or is it?
In terms of farming as a ret, you can't really do much. You got to have a prot offset 100%, because I do the same thing as Kale or Crix is doing. We just go farm Skolo, and you really do need the figurine of Colossus. That thing is fantastic for farming.
What is that?
It's a trinket from.
It's a trinket out of Shattered Halls.
Oh.
It's a 2-minute cooldown, and let's say you have 100 mobs attacking you. You pop the trinket. Every time you successfully block, you're gonna heal for 120. And paladins usually itemize around shield block rating, so they already have a really. And Redoubt is another one of their abilities, so they have all these like passive abilities and things like that, or Holy Shield, Redoubt, just having high block rating in general. Just makes it a very, very good trinket for prop paladin.
Yeah, and because everything and the NPCs are lower level, so you block more than you would at like a in a raid or a dungeon. You're gonna block more, so thus you heal more off that trinket procking. It's like I had 100 health and I popped the trinket, and your health goes all the way back up. You're 100% on a 2-minute cooldown, right, or something, and you could just do it every pool if you wanted to.
That's
crazy.
Awesome. Yeah, man. So is there a chance that, you know how everybody in Classic right now is a mage, where, all the people that are raiding, just like mage alt for just portals, water, I mean, just for like a million reasons. Do you think it's a good likelihood that everybody is, even if they don't main pally, that they're going to have a prop pally alt as like the first thing that they make on a?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So for those of you,
it is the mage of Classic for sure.
It's the mage of Classic. Gotcha.
Yep, for farming.
They have, I mean, the amount of time and effort it takes to become farm, like, to become farming able. Like, I know in Classic, mages just need, like, a lot of int and things like that, and maybe if they're doing, like, Mardon, they need a few pieces of nature resist. Prop Hellies need maybe 4 to 6 dungeons, if they're lucky with drops, and then they're very capable of solo farming a lot of things.
Gotcha. So for those watching, even if you're not maining Pally, this still could pertain to you, a lot of what we're saying here, because you might have, you'll likely have a Pally alt, just start thinking of it in that way, the mage of TBC kind of. Okay, so let's go into talents and specializations. Maybe specializations is more broad here. What is the role of each specialization as you guys see it? Are they all viable, or are some noticeably stronger or weaker than others? Maybe we start with you, Blaze. How do you see the 3 specs?
I see you should probably bring a set of each to the raid. You should bring a prop paladin for the AoE pulls. You should bring a ret paladin. Shout out to the hunters, a ret paladin to Crusader Strike and keep up Jow. And then you should have a holy paladin there to maybe stabilize the raid. Have a third buff for everybody. But I think having all 3 is pretty key to having a good raid that everybody wants to parse well. Stuff like that. So I think that's key for everybody doing high damage all around.
Are holy pallies, the one thing that people might be asking too is, do holy pallies suck in TBC? Right, chat? I mean, because you always hear that they're a little bit predictable on the arena side of thing. What about on raiding? Like, do you value them a lot, Kale, as a raid leader?
When it comes to a Holy Paladin, and this will be shout out to the people that are going to play Holy Paladin, you can't miss a raid. You got to be very, very dependable. Unless your guild's running 2 Holy Paladins, which would be unique, the main Holy Paladin needs to literally make every raid. So whoever that may be, just try to make sure they're very, very stable. And when it comes to paladins in general, every paladin should have an off spec. Your ret pally should have a prot, your holy should have a prot, your prot should have a holy. It's one of those things that if you're going to play paladin, play it right and just be super flexible when needed. I currently, I lean towards the ret side, but I'm still very capable of putting on holy gear and slinging out some, holy lights.
The way you made that sound, though, where like you have to make every raid, it almost feels like you're fighting to prove your viability. Like you're not guaranteed that slot. So do you think that they are kind of underwhelming comparatively to other healers, or
it's a very it's a selfless healer. You're not playing it to top meters. You're strictly usually a tank healer. Now there are 2 different types of Holy Paladin, and if we're gonna do a section where we get into those, I can kind of break it down into like the 2 different styles of playing Holy Paladin in TBC. But generically, you're really suited to be healing the tank with the druid. So it can be rewarding. It's more of a gear sink for a guild than it is being like mandatory. But it's just super nice when the paladin is always there, always providing either the 2nd or 3rd paladin buff, which is super nice.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
They bring an extra judgment too. Like, so if you have Judgment of Wisdom, Judgment of Crusader, they bring Judgment of Light, which is good for hunter pets. It's okay for melee. It tickles their healing, but it might be enough to keep them alive if it gets really rough.
So, out of curiosity, what healer sticks out? I know it's not slightly off, slightly a tangent here, but what healer sticks out as really shining in TBC?
Resto Shaman.
Resto Shaman.
All of us say Resto Shaman.
Why? Yep. Why? It's just the blood. I mean, the
utility.
Utility, and they fucking heal, bro. They're
just so good.
Those chain heals, man.
Chain heal is a very overpowered heal. Like it legitimately is overpowered. It's super mana. It's the most mana efficient spell for them too. On top of being utility, they can drop Wind Fury for melee. They can drop Spell Power for ranged. Bloodlust. Everybody loves Bloodlust or Heroism. And if it's just all around, they're just Mana Tide for the healers, or if it's Mana Tide in general is another. You can swap them just like you can Bloodlust DPS groups. You can swap them into a healer group and drop Mana Tide for all your healers if needed.
That is interesting. Is there something that Holy brings that is unique specifically to Holy, though, where they can do anything? They can almost perform that slight niche better than the other healers, or not so much?
Yeah, be a free spot.
A bop.
They bring a bop is a good one. They can Blessing of Protection one person usually per fight. If they're really good, they can taunt mobs in and then bubble. They're like, that's like pretty high end gameplay, I guess. Like just you have to be very situationally aware when you're doing things like that, and usually communicating taunts and things like that. If you are, they dispel okay. But other than that, like, they provide an aura, usually. You'd like to use the concentration aura or something for the healers. So the healers aren't having pushback on some certain fights.
Gotcha.
Or they're providing shadow or fire resist or frost resist, depending on the fight. Usually shadow resist is buffed anyways, but if it, for whatever reason...
So in Classic, this is another thing, going back to the Classic versus TBC point. In Classic, is it fair to say that Holy shines the brightest out of the specs, right? I mean, it's an incredible healer with almost infinite mana in Classic, and you're seeing how high impact they are in Naxxramas right now. You know, we were watching the Race to World First in Naxxramas, and just the resist, just the infinity mana. But is it presumptuous to say that Holy is the weakest of the Paladin specs in TBC? Or are we not there
That's how
yet?
it feels. That's how it looks from my perspective.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's between Holy and Prot. I mean, technically, like, I would never call Prot weak, but it's like Ret's more needed for keeping up judgments, and a Prot Pally just AoE tanks.
Damn.
So, but yeah, it considerably could be the weakest spec for Paladins. It'll be needed. People love Holy Paladins on certain things. Usually 25-man rating.
Would you take one over Extra Shaman?
Over an Extra Shaman? Probably not.
Oh. So your perfect comp has the Holy Paladin in it.
Like, they just don't bring, like, AoE healing like every other class can do. Like, Druid can hot people, Priest can COH, Prayer Mending, Shamans can chain heal. Holy Paladins, they get to heal one person. Like, that's it.
If you had a perfect comp, would you put a Holy Paladin in it still?
In a 25-man, yes. Not in a 10-man.
So, it almost made you almost made it seem like Ret is the strongest of the 3 specs, which is so crazy, right? For a lot of people watching, like, you know, that just boggles their mind considering how laughed at they are a lot of times in Classic. I never thought they were so bad in Classic. I think it's kind of cool that if you're rich and you're super baller, you can buy every consume and everything in the game. You can actually scale, so much. But what changes with Ret? Maybe Blast, you can Blaze, you can talk about this. Like, what changes that elevates Ret? Like, what
in
happened
terms of between Classic and TBC, it's going to come down to Seal of Blood. Honestly, that's one of the biggest things. Crusader Strike is also a pretty big thing. Having Wind Fury, honestly, it's fantastic.
The tooltip on Ret refreshes all seals. So, like, a Holy Paladin only has to judge Seal of Light or Seal of Wisdom once. Ret Pally will keep it up the rest of the fight as long as they're Crusader striking. Which, if you're going to see as many Hunters as we're expecting to see, Seal of Wisdom is going to be really popular. And it has to be on the boss for these Hunters to do their full rotation pump.
I'll pull up...
Crusader Strike is absolutely needed.
Yeah, I'll pull up Seal of Blood and Crusader Strike. Maybe Seal of Blood first. So this is a Blood Elf racial, and we can talk lightly about this right now too, because a lot of people, that's going to be a hot button topic as we get closer to TBC. Is Blood Elf seriously that much better? And we have a big brain Ret here, folks. So if you have any questions for him too, man, this is an opportunity right here. Seal of Blood. Maybe you can break it down first place, what it does, and how you see the debate between Blood Elf and Draenei. Is it the end of the world? Let's see.
Well, if you're trying to min-max and be doing the most damage that a Ret Paladin can do, it's an absolute big deal. Because Horde gets access to Seal of Blood and Alliance just don't. That also means that the Horde Paladin can twist in between Seal of Command and Seal of Blood, whereas the Alliance Paladin can only have Seal of Command, and it's kind of a different gear setup as well that you would go for in that scenario. But Seal of Blood is great because it's always hitting, and it does a little bit of damage to yourself. And the reason that's good is because you get a little bit of healing and you get a lot of mana through Spiritual Attunement. So kind of helps your mana regen, especially if you're twisting and if you're hitting high rank consecrates and using exorcism and stuff like that during the fight.
I see. So you do see it as it's quite a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
And this also, the other aspect of it, I mean, if you read it, it's just worth noting when you talk about it every time, how you deal damage to yourself. That's actually advantageous in both PvP and PvE, right? It's kind of almost like a seal of, the death, Shadow Word Death for Priest. You can pop yourself out of stuff.
Very cheap.
Yeah.
And
you got to watch, though, on Prince on Karazhan, you can absolutely kill yourself with Prince with Seal of Blood. So fights like that, you got to watch what you're doing, and you can end up killing yourself and end up wiping the whole raid.
To take you down, it takes you down to like 1% or something, right?
Yeah.
1 health, 1 HP.
Health. Yeah. Okay. And then Crusader Strike. I don't really fully understand how Ret works to, you know, Crusader Strike. I'll bring it up here. Like, what does a rotation look like, Ret? I mean, it's going to be so nuanced, right? But just generally speaking, is there anything that changes from Classic to TBC? And
well, I've never played Ret and Classic, honestly, so I can't really say for what really occurs there. But for TBC, generally, if the raid has a prop paladin, a Ret paladin, and a holy paladin, you'll be judging Crusader. You'll keep up judgment of Crusader. The prop paladin will judge wisdom, and you know, if you need it, the holy paladin will judge light and stuff like that. But Crusader Strike is there in the rotation. It does a lot of damage. I think it's like third most in terms of overall damage when you do Ret damage between all your spells. But anyway, it's there to refresh all those seals, and it's just really great just for the raid. For the hunters, they absolutely cry if Judgment of Wisdom falls off, and that's also kind of why expertise and hit is very good for a Ret paladin.
Interesting. Okay. All right, makes sense. So and like Crusader Strike, you use this off cooldown or no?
Yeah, generally you use it off cooldown. I'll sit on Crusader Strike maybe 1 to 2 seconds. It really depends. If my on endless seal twisting works a little different. So generally every auto attack I'm trying to twist. So when the white hit when the auto attack is about to occur, I'll be trying to twist, and then I'll be using either Judgment or Crusader Strike after that. So generally 1 to 2 seconds I'll be sitting on Crusader Strike.
I gotcha. Okay. And there is some other utility that Ret brings to the table too. Is it mandatory utility?
It's 3% crit damage from.
Yep.
3%, excuse me, crit, not crit damage for the whole raid, which is, you know, a lot. The prop pally can bring that Seal of Crusader buff, but it's much easier for Ret pally judges it, because Blast isn't going even as ham as he normally does. Like, you can put on a different Libram and judge a higher Crusader debuff, and then swap your Libram back, just like some classes can swap weapons. Paladins can swap Librams in combat.
Oh, I didn't
so
know
they
that.
can, yeah. So you can. There's a Libram that makes your Seal of Crusader do more holy damage or take more holy damage. So you judge with that. Swap Librams to your the one that gives you crit, and then you can proceed to do your rotation. As long as you don't let it fall, it technically snapshots.
That's crazy, man.
That's what I do every time. Yep.
Libram swapping, so it's counted as kind of a weapon in that sense. That is really interesting.
I mean, and then in general, Ret pallies, like when I originally was talking, they give 2% damage to the party. They fix their mana issues with a talent, like something with every time you judge, you get mana back. So they definitely reworked paladins in a really good way. And then when it comes down to alliance versus, you know, horde, just the fact that alliance paladins, alliance Ret paladins are absolutely still going to be a thing. They're just more RNG based, like just Seal of Command, you know, being RNG versus Seal of Blood being every swing.
So it's the type of thing
we
that
just came from alliance to.
You literally aren't using Seal of Vengeance over even Seal of Command. Seal of Command is the go-to. It's the next best after Seal of Blood.
Nope.
For the Rets.
You pretty much would never use Vengeance as Ret.
Yeah, I don't think you would. I don't even think you'd seal twist it. No, it'd be weird.
The only slight application for Seal of Vengeance you were saying before, Dr. Kill, is for protection, and then even then you were saying that something happens in the game where it just becomes obsolete fully at some point. Bummer.
I personally would never use it because, like, to get it to stack to 5 times just is so much time. And yeah, there's a Libram that comes into the game that buffs Seal of Righteous. I'm gonna be playing Horde anyways, but Alliance Paladins, like on pull, would still be using Seal of Righteous for snap threat. They're not gonna be up there swinging Seal of Vengeance on pull.
Interesting.
And if fights are gonna be as short. Yeah, because if fights are going to be as short as we anticipate them to be, I just don't see Seal of Vengeance being viable. Unless you're going to, like, tank like a minute into the fight, then sure, stack it up, and then when you taunt, then use that. But if you're going to be tanking on pull or ads that spawn, no, I wouldn't ever mess with Seal of Vengeance, personally.
Gotcha.
It can be good. It's just, yeah. It scales with spell power. That's why Rets would never try to stack it.
Gotcha.
In terms of Seal of Blood or Seal of Vengeance, Seal of Blood is just pulls ahead in terms of utility.
So, seeing as we just came from Alliance to Horde, you guys feel like do you feel the difference?
It just has to do with it would just be strictly racials. So Blazed, who needs expertise, feels it way more than me.
It feels bad.
Yep.
It feels bad going to
Expertise is
Horde?
big.
I didn't understand that.
Well,
he's just saying going from human to blood elf, you know, he lost 5 expertise, which he was already struggling with, so it just really, really kicked him while he was down.
But you're still doing
you like that
much better
over the Seal of Blood.
Well, yeah. Well, on Endless on that server, both factions get Seal of Blood and Vengeance. I don't know if that was clear. So
right.
So if you're on Alliance, you're getting Seal of Blood as well.
I see. So it felt like you were purely taking the L there, losing that expertise. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the kind of spec, just the broad strokes with it is protection. And again, I love protection paladin, even in classic. I just think it's so fun. I think my favorite talent in the game is probably spiritual focus. Just the 70%, pushback with concentration is just, it feels so busted in all the right ways. I just love it so much. And to see that protection become super viable is so cool, man. What we can maybe just hit the basics and then just go off on a tangent if you want, Dr. Kill, or anything, because I know you're passionate. Protection paladin. Can you main tank as a protection paladin? Can you tank every boss in the game as a protection paladin? Is protection no? just take it from here, man.
You can't. Well, in theory, no, you can't tank every boss in the game. You could, I think up to Illidan. Illidan would be the tricky one because shears and Holy Shield's not 100%. So if you eat a shear, you probably die. And then I take one step backwards. You've got, if you were trying to main tank Illidari Council, you wouldn't have the spell reflect for the Judgment of Command. So there are some bosses, ROS, you'd have to, there's bosses that spell reflect or being able to interrupt or having a raid or like a personal cooldown makes it a lot easier. If it's as easy as we think, you'll be able to tank 90% of the bosses technically, and you'd probably be fine. But but other than that, I mean, until tier 6, I just, I don't. Until Bear Druids get to the point of doing ridiculous threat, I think prop helis will be amazing.
Prop helis will be amazing. Yeah, I mean, we went off. We were talking about Karazhan, and even just in Karazhan, all the big plays you can do with Pally. It really seems like you can make some massive plays if you use Bubble, if you really use all your tools, Exorcism, Bop. There's just so much finesse with it. And yes, you are missing like a shield wall technically and stuff like that, but I don't know. It seems like an amazing time to play a protection paladin.
Oh yeah, I mean, even like if not having shield wall, paladins have cancel aura. You can remove some of the nastiest debuffs in the game with a click, a keybind of a button, a click of a macro. You can immediately just take that debuff away. I think about, because we're currently in Black Temple, I get all these stacks from Blood Boil, these bleed stacks. I immediately can go from 13 stacks to 0, and I don't lose threat. It just immediately removes a debuff. Or when I'm solo tanking ZA and you get the Mangle debuff from the Bear boss, you again cancel aura. You now no longer take the extra bleed damage. They definitely have their own little. They're not just completely wasted. When cooldowns is
the Frisbee spell that everybody thinks about, like just the
Avenger Shield.
Avenger Shield. I mean, just an amazing ability. But like, is it? This is kind of a selfish. Like, do you use it all the time? Like on cooldown? Like even mid fight? Like, are you just spamming it?
I don't even spec for it. Early on in TBC, I use it for dungeons. It's good to pull.
Yeah.
But the second I get late tier 4, early tier 5, I go for Sank Aura down the ret tree for extra threat. So I'm rarely even in the melee group with a ret pally. So I want to have my own Sank Aura. So again, there's 2 different specs I usually like to run. One's early, and if I want Avenger Shield, it's more safe to play, or the other one is more threat. And I mean, I think on the screen you can see me running Hyjal, and you can see I have Sank Aura, but I don't have Avenger Shield anywhere on my bar. I don't spec for it.
Interesting. Okay.
It's just more threat, and once you get comfortable not having a pull, like something to pull mobs, and you get more comfortable with each dungeon, you will love Sank Aura more than anything else in the game. 10% holy damage is 10% threat. You have Consecrate, you've got Holy Shield, you've got Blessing of Sanctuary, you've got Seals of Righteous. All of your damage is holy, and giving you 10% more damage is just... You're not going to have any threat issues. Well, you shouldn't have any threat issues.
Gotcha.
At all.
How do you pull, though, without it? Right? Do you just use engineering bombs or, Blood Elf Racial or something?
Yeah, so Blood Elf Racial is a good one, but if not, face pull. But again, that's when you really become comfortable with the class. Things like Frost Traps can help you kite. Like if you want to run circles around a Frost Trap, keep dropping Consecrate. Swiftness potions, like you've seen my bags, like having just a bunch of different consumables to get you out of certain situations.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Now, when it comes to prop pally, what are the downsides to it though? Where does it kind of hurt? Like I imagine, are you just kind of a giant potato in PvP, or do people just picking on you? There's gotta be some downsides to it.
PvP. So PvP are non-existent most of TBC. Now you can do like ret prot, but you can't ever do prot red or prot holy. You really can't. You won't have the sustainability, and it's just no damage.
What about just open world though? Like, are you So my thing is, I love Paladin. Even in vanilla, it's a lot of fun. But the only issue is I feel like it's tough to 1v1 people as a Pally in Classic, and you really can get just played with and toyed with by a lot of these classes, and playing Paladin on a PvE server is another story, though. It seems a lot more attractive, at least in Classic. I'm just thinking about in TBC, like, do you get picked on?
No, I mean, so if like you're in open world, the most annoying fight is against another prop Paladin. It's really annoying. So if like an alliance, luckily you have Mana Tap, which literally will win a prop Pally duel. You will beat every hunter, you'll beat any type of physical damage, you'll beat any other tank. But when it comes to like mages or warlocks or priests, you're really weak against casters.
Griggs is
you're
smiling nearly.
You're a free kill. They'll drain. All they have to do. Here's how you beat a prop Paladin. You just drain their mana.
Yeah.
Their mana goes to 0. They are auto attackers.
Mm-hmm.
They're just gonna bubble hearth, and if you're a priest, just mass dispel it and keep toying with them.
How free is a prop pally for you, Crix, in the world?
It's so free that I don't even fight them, bro. I kind of just feel bad, just keep pushing. No, really, it's not just prop paladin, it's ret pally and holy pally as well. They prefer warlock. They're pretty easy. Force the bubble out. Once the bubble's out, they're fucked.
What about ret pally? Like, Blaze, how do you?
They're the same thing as a prop paladin. They just hit harder. Oh, I thought you were talking to me, sir.
Well, no, I'm curious about both of yours. How does a ret pally do open world PvP? Like, can you slap?
Out in the world, it really depends on who you're fighting. A good mage can maybe mess you up. A rogue, they're pretty annoying. You gotta definitely have your resilience gear on for a rogue, because they'll kill you in a stun lock if you don't have your resilience gear on. Warrior might be pretty hard to do, but other than that, I mean,
Warrior's tough.
All the classes, bro.
Really? You think Warrior would be tough?
Warrior's tough.
Why is that? Just the damage is nuts, or what?
If it's open world, you get lay on hand, so technically, you're gonna beat a warrior every 60 minutes.
If he's
what
got,
do you
if
see,
you got
what do you see as when you're in the open world as a ret? What do you look at? And you're like, oh yeah, you're eating and drinking. I'm coming for you. What type is that?
Honestly, like a warlock that's not SLSL.
No way.
Like that tier 4 wearing two set warlock. Oof.
If I get a jump on a rogue or a warrior, so like you can't repentance a warrior. They can literally break the incapacitate, and so you lose one of your CCs.
Yeah.
But if you can technically get the open on a rogue, you should beat a rogue too. Seal of Justice shuts down every druid. So like when you run into a druid as a pally, you will beat a druid all day long.
Justice? What the hell did
also,
they change?
Imagine everything that everybody's undead too.
Okay, so Seal of Justice, when you judge it, they no longer can move at any increased speed. And if you're a red pally, you're moving at 15% increased speed.
Yo, you're kidding me. They changed that in TBC then.
No. Like, so yeah,
it's
so
amazing.
if I judge a rogue with Seal of Justice and they don't have Cloak of Shadows up and they try to sprint, they're walking. They don't sprint away.
Yo,
you
that
literally
sounds
can
amazing.
just be like, come here and slap them to death.
Because that ability is useless in PvP right now in Classic, right? Like it's literally does
it still
absolutely
has
nothing.
a chance to stun.
The judgment
Dude,
is
it's
useless
so funny.
in Classic though.
Yeah, no. Here's the best part. It's the funniest RNG. When you put up Seal of Justice and your first auto swing stuns them, even though you're immediately going to judge, it's funny.
Yeah.
You know they're sitting there in their chair like, God damn it.
Yo, that sounds kind of good, man. The Judgment of Justice? I didn't even know that, man. Damn.
You can also twist into the Seal of Justice to get the stun off before you can judge the Justice as well.
You would never think that a Paladin could ever beat a Druid ever, because they would just easily run away and disengage from you. You know,
well, dude, here's the crazy part. Let's say someone's on a flying mount, an epic flying mount. If they're flying past you and you want to be a little dick, just judge Justice on them, and for the next 15 seconds, they're literally moving across the screen like this. Just
on their flying mount, on their 310.
It literally stops them in their path. It's funny.
That's enough reason to roll Pally right there. Come on now.
Or if let's say you have epic flying and you're mining and you're just tired of losing to a druid that's flying around and herbing and mining, just every so often swing by him and judge Justice.
Man,
just let him know.
You just let him know you're like, I'm here. Because remember, once a Paladin's in the sky or on a mount, Crusade which was added in the game, makes them literally 20% faster on a mount.
So you can move the fastest around the world pretty much as a pally, right? On mount, because you can technically get like a gladiator on gladiator mount plus Crusader or
an Ashes of Alar.
Oh yeah, which you have, right? Yeah, that's pretty tight, man.
You might.
Yeah.
So the thing is, the Druid can't shift out of Judgment of Justice, right? Because it's not actually a slow. If it slowed them at all, they could just shift out of it. But that's so obnoxious, but in all the right ways, right there. I gotta say, old Judgment of Justice.
Yeah, and you're a Paladin, so if they try to root you, you literally just cleanse yourself, or freedom. And right before their cyclone goes off, if you judge Justice, that Justice is going to last twice as long as a cyclone, and you'll immediately catch up.
Yeah. And another thing, I know this sounds really simple, but people in the chat may not know this, but in TBC they just give all pallies Consecrate. It doesn't matter what spec you are, it's just baseline spell, which is so nice, right? I mean, Consecrate is a great amenity. One thing that I think some pallies don't take advantage of in Classic, I assume it works the same way in TBC, it's such an amenity, is rank 1 Consecrate, in the sense that it just allows you to set up however big a pull as you want. You literally just keep everything leashed over and over again until you're ready to go, and then you kill it all, and you can turn anything into an AoE pull. Now, let me ask you just another general question, though, on that note. Is downranking still a thing in TBC? If not, why not? If so, what are your thoughts on it?
The only time that for downranking, it is Consecrate, so it's common to use that in Arena. Rank 1 Consecrate to maybe get a rogue out or something like that. There is... Sometimes I would downrank Consecrate while doing some dungeons or something if I just want to hold threat off the healer but let DPS pull off me. But for the most part, it would be usually just arena rank 1 consecrates. It's very mana intensive at max rank, so you gotta be careful there.
For Ret and PvE, I'm downranking Consecrate and Seal of Command. I'll choose between, rank 6, rank 4, rank 1 Consecrate, depending on, the amount of mobs or like my mana usage at the time. And then I'll also choose between rank 1 or the top rank of Seal of Command, what you choose to twist in between Seal of Command and Blood. That also depends on how much mana you have and how much future mana you're going to have. So yeah, downranking is absolutely a thing with Ret.
And across the board, I mean, in TBC, so downranking kind of just still is a thing, right? There is some penalty downranking now. I forgot the exact notation. Grix, what are your thoughts on downranking, man? As a warlock, I know you're warlock.
I was ready to add. I mean, I downrank like my life tap, but it downrank Hellfire, downrank fire, stuff like that. But I was mana with you guys with Prot and Ret.
I have no mana issues, honestly.
Yeah. Ever? You never had even build-in long fights like that? Well, I mean, because you outside of when you have to AFK though, like when you can't do anything like mechanical wise, like if you had a whole 5 minutes straight of pumping, are you gonna run out of mana?
No. If Judgment of Wisdom is up on the target and you have Dark Runes and stuff like that, Ret really doesn't have a problem with mana.
Well, Prot, every now and then, rarely do I hear you say you need mana.
I use when I'm low on mana, I try to incorporate that into my next pull using a mana potion for some threat, which on some casters, which is really nice. I know in this Hygel video, I use it multiple times, but the more damage you take, the more mana you have. So you can see while I'm doing trash and just getting, railed on by all the mobs, because we don't CC in our Hygel, but you can see that my mana stays 100% if I'm taking enough damage.
Yeah, and that's because of a passive. It's a trainable passive called
Baseline too.
Something.
Spiritual Attunement.
Yeah. So it's almost, I never thought about it like this. But it's almost like Rage, kind of, Dr. Kale. Because the more damage you take, the more resources you get. Because as you get healed, you get, 10% of the healed amount as mana or something like that. It's pretty...
Yeah, he was just at 60% right before this pull, and then he pulled all of them, and then all of his mana went right back up immediately, and it's just staying there.
Yeah. No, that's so nice.
So, I mean, there's tier 6 for Prot Paladin gives you 10% more, but that literally means 1% more overall. So you go from 10% to 11%. So, I mean, yeah, that's cool, but for the most part, as long as you're pulling smart, there are some bosses that you can go on, but
I see. Now,
if you're not taking damage and you're using Consecrate on cooldown, you could technically yourself.
Gotcha.
Like a big problem is if you're trying to off tank Gruul, Prot Paladins, they either have to main tank Gruul or they can't off tank, because if they're not getting hit, they can try standing in cave in, but it might not be enough mana return. And then if they're not second in threat, then melee are going to start eating, hateful strikes. So they usually have to main tank Gruul because they need the mana back.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I guess last question I just have, and then let's move on to itemization and stuff, itemization and professions. For Prot, is your taunt the same as, is it a spell? Does it have some massive chance to miss and stuff? Or I don't even know if
yeah, it's called Righteous Defense, and it is a spell.
Okay.
Who can it?
No, and it does. I mean, it can resist just like normal.
Yeah, I think all taunts might operate like that too. I was just wondering if there's something unique with because I think on Endless, didn't they do something weird to taunt? They made it not a spell or something.
Yeah,
but I think
correct. They pretty much made it so it can't miss.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have to stack spell hit rating in order for it to not miss.
Okay.
And the thing with Paladin taunt though is, keep this in mind, you can't just taunt a mob that's targeting you.
Yeah, that's
strange. Needs to be targeting something else in order for you to taunt it. You can't just range pull with taunt. In Wrath, they give you a spell called Hand of Reckoning, which is a single person taunt. But in TBC, it's a 40-yard range, which is awesome. but they have to be targeting somebody other than you.
Right. Is it
Okay.
No, I'm gonna say like, does it function the same way other taunts do? Because it's weird, right? You like save your teammate and taunt off. Like, do you just continue? Do you just match whatever threat they have, and then it just permanently gives you that threat, like how warrior taunt works and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yep. It also like when you're. It sucks though, right? It's the part that sucks is if things get away from you and you taunt, right? You're trying to get them to come back to you, but let's say your Warlock panics and death coils it. If you don't hit it in that taunt duration, like in that window that it should be getting back to you, you'll immediately lose threat again. You need to begin doing threat at that point. It doesn't just slingshot you up there and you're there. You then need to proceed to keep climbing on that threat table.
Right, but I think that's the same way it works with warrior and stuff too, right? Like, I'm just...
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Okay.
A question for the Ret. You explained it earlier. I saw a couple people asking as well. The Reckoning build, was that viable? And for those that don't know what Reckoning build is, can you explain it, please?
You talking about for PvP or PvE?
PvP.
PvP, it could be viable. It's a little bit of a RNG, a little bit of a spice, you know. The top guy on Endless right now, he's using it with Wind Fury, and you know, he's I think number 3 overall. I think Surgeon is or something like that with the Wrestler Shaman right now. So I mean, he can actually, you know, do a lot of damage. You don't use Crusader Strike, so you're kind of just sitting there waiting for someone to mess up, and then you kind of just auto attack on the death and get 5 hits, and you know, hit them real hard. But in terms of that, and you know, in PvE, that's not something that you would run at all. You definitely want to have Crusader Strike.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I have the talent tree pulled up right now. We don't have to go through all of it, but just looking at it on the stream, are there any that are worth bringing up on the stream that are kind of interesting changes wise? There's a lot of little tiny adjustments to some of this stuff, you know. There's Divine Illumination and Holy. We talked about the old Frisbee or Avenger Shield, Crusader Strike. I mean, there could be nothing that sticks out, but I'm just throwing it up just in case.
The nice part, I mean, like Prop Paladins are given 2 talents that give 10% stamina and 6% stamina, which I think is the most out of any of the tanks. So they get 16% stamina from talents, which is really nice as well, which were added in.
Oh shit!
On TBC.
It takes out the attack speed penalty for Bubble too.
Correct, which is nice. For the most part, if you're gonna sit and bubble, it's nice to continue to like swing on something. And then the combat expertise is right next to Avenger's Shield on the right. You know, that also gives you expertise and 10% stamina.
Whoa, am I reading this right? Ardent Defender, when you have less than 35% health, all damage is taken reduced by 30%? Damn, that sounds pretty damn good too.
That's really good for farming. That I don't honestly feel is good for raiding, but it's really good for farming.
I see.
Usually a hit, if you're at 35%, you're going to get hit by a boss, you're statistically going to die next swing.
Okay. The damage is like coming
Ardent Defender rarely is going to save you. But again, if you're doing like tier 5 where you're tanking some of the Hydros ads or Tidewalker ads, Ardent Defender could be a pretty good choice.
Gotcha.
Or Kael'thas weapons.
Anything in the ret tree interesting? It looks kind of similar to how it is in Classic so far.
The addition of Crusader Strike's great. The addition of improved Sanctity Aura, that 2% increase is great.
Right.
The change between that talent right there, the Seal of Crusader, from being attack power to critical strike for both, I think, are all 3. It's melee spells and what else is it? Just all attacks. 3% increase in critical strike. It's just fantastic.
I see. Also, I don't know how good is this Sanctified Judgment. You pretty much get 80% of your mana cost back on the Judgment. I mean, Judgment's not too expensive though, is it? To begin with, or is it good?
No,
is it solid?
I mean, you're spamming it.
Yeah, it's very good for keeping your mana back. But also, you know, some people like to take one talent point out of that and run 2 out of 3. Some people will also run Vindication. So Vindication acts as a a spell cast on the target, so it could proc Judgment of Wisdom as well. So it's another thing that you can use to have good mana regen as a Ret Paladin.
I see. This talent here, Divine Purpose, seems quite good for PvP, right? Melee and range critical strikes against you cause 4% less damage. It's up, I assume it stacks up to 12, and then you're stacking resilience and PvP. In this in combination with the resilience, make you pretty beefy. It looks like, at least.
Yep.
It's kind of nice. I don't know. Maybe that's the type of talent everybody has.
They also have an eye for an eye talent, which is really cool too.
Eye for an eye.
It's tier 4 on the left.
On the left, okay. 1, 2, 4. Oh, it's in red. Yeah, there we go. All spell criticals against you cause 30% of damage to take taken to the caster as well. Yep.
I mean, if you happen to be queuing into like RMP or something where a big shatter is going to hit you, it still reflects good damage back.
True.
I don't play Ret PvP too much, but I think it's a unique ability.
All right, sounds good. So we made it through specs. We made it through noteworthy talent changes. The next kind of topic is itemization, quality of life, professions, all that whole bucket there, right? So, I guess just to keep it simple to start, what does the quality of life look like? From on a fresh server, like is it super competitive to get the gear that you need? Are you good to go right off the bat on three different specs? What stats are you looking for? A lot to get through here. Maybe we can start with you, Blazed. On the Ret side of things, how's it looking?
In terms of a fresh server, in terms of Ret, if you're going for PvE or PvP, you're going to want to go blacksmithing. That's pretty competitive in the beginning. A lot of people are also going to be rushing that. They're going to be rushing Stormheld. They're going to be or Deep Thunder. Lionheart Champion. They're going to be rushing that. If it's TBC Classic goes the way of fresh servers, that will be absolutely competitive. Struggling for iron nodes, mithril nodes, that type of stuff will be fought over for sure. Leatherworking is also going to be something that you would want to get, so it's kind of an uphill climb with Ret. You have to get both rating professions if you want to do a lot of damage.
Gotcha. And what are you looking for as a Ret? Do you get 2 AP per string? Do you looking for int? You're a hybrid, so maybe a combination of everything. Like, is there some set that sticks out? Is there what's your best stat on Ret?
In terms of best stat or best profession?
Stat. Like,
stat.
Because a crit, you try to go for crit. I don't know if there's much haste on the early
for
gear.
sure. In the beginning, you don't really get a lot of haste. Strength is going to be your go-to stat. You get a ton of attack power out of it just based upon the 10% that you go out of in the Holy Tree with your spec, and then the 10% that you get from King. So each point of strength, you get 20% increased strength. So strength is a very good stat for you. Crit is also very good for Ret because you need to have like around 30% just standing crit in order to get Vengeance up pretty quickly in a fight. Pop all your cooldowns and stuff like that. Make sure that it's happening during a Bloodlust. And you also want to make sure that you're keeping up Vengeance as well. So crit is also another stat that you need to keep an eye on.
Okay. Gotcha. So blacksmithing, seems like warriors, Ret Pallies, everyone is kind of going that route. And Storm Herald is on the PvP side of things. There's a PvE weapon as well, or is it Storm Herald for both?
Yes. So
speak on profession for you.
Absolutely. If you're going to go blacksmithing, or if you're going to go Paladin, Ret Paladin, you need to go blacksmithing if you're going to be serious about it. It depends on what you want to do. If you're going to, be PvE mostly, and you want to be like one of the top Paladins, you want to parse, on Warcraft logs, stuff like that, you should go with Lionheart Champion. That's speaking if you have Seal of Blood.
I was just going to say faction-based.
Yeah, it's faction-based as well. If you have Seal of Blood, if you have Seal of Blood, go Lionheart Champion, go Lionheart Executioner. That's the sword you're going to want. But if you want to, do a little bit PvP at all, if you want to do threes and run Ret, Warrior, or Sham and just have a lot of fun putting down Wind Fury and smacking some cloth, go Storm Herald, go Mace. Have a lot of fun. The damage in PvE is not that noticeable to someone who's not min-maxing a Ret Paladin, but to someone who really cares about a Ret Paladin's damage in PvE, you want to go with Lionheart.
Lionheart champion. I like how you really made that distinction, though. So if you're trying to just do both, which is probably most people, right? To be honest, the people are going to want to do some arenas, are going to want to raid. You can go Storm Herald, and you're not going to be laughed at in raid or not accepted or something. It's still serviceable.
Yep.
Very, very cool.
I mean, Storm Herald, 2 Storm Heralds in 3v3 with an Armor Warrior that has it is absolutely hilarious to watch.
Storm Herald, by the way, in PvP, when they're stunned, makes your Seal of Command do double damage. So Storm Herald also benefits Seal of Command by itself.
Right. And the Judgment is higher too, right? You do more damage with the Judgment on stunned and captured.
Yeah, or maybe it's Judgment only, but it buffs Seal of Command. So that's one, it procs you Judge. You now did more damage, just from your weapon alone.
How
and it's slow
ridiculously
swinging.
Expensive is this thing? I mean, is there anything people can do to prepare to get this? Like,
it's gonna be brutal. It's gonna be insane.
Yeah. In the beginning, it's gonna be crazy to craft blacksmithing weapons. Honestly.
Again, what comes into play here? How to make it cheaper? Have alchemists. You need primal mites, like an ungodly amount of primal mites. So you're gonna want their cooldowns. If you're playing a server that's going from classic into TBC, just pre-farm all your mats to go from, you'll be engineering probably, so have the mats to go from 0 to 300 already. You'll have all of the, you probably have all the rep if you're continuing into TBC already, so it shouldn't be too bad. When leveling blacksmithing, I think it's thorium bracers. Try to pick those up. Those will save you a good amount of gold while leveling. But
it's hard for me to see how much what it takes to make this thing. It looks like there's the Nether Vortex, but you're saying that all these mites and stuff.
Yeah, because you're on rank 3.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
You're on rank 3. So you'll craft Thunder first, then Deep Thunder, then Storm Herald. Storm Herald cannot be crafted until Tier 5 is out, because Nether Vortexes drop in Tier 5 raids.
Oh, no shit. So you're not going to be able to get this in the first couple weeks, then?
Well, maybe. If T5's out on launch, you'll see people farming trash. A good way for
trash.
Yeah, a lot of guilds will sell their Nether Vortexes as soon as they can. You might end up paying on private servers. You can pay anywhere from 1K to 3K per vortex. If gold is as inflated as it is into classic TBC, you could be paying 10K per vortex or something crazy.
So looking at Deep Thunder too, I mean, it still has the stun proc on it. It probably has the same PPM. Yep. It's not like the most garbage. It's not the hugest difference ever.
No, it's
even if you
really
just get Deep Thunder, you're fine, right?
That's what you hear all over chat. Deep Thunder Warrior looking for group.
Oh damn. Yeah. So this just requires Primal Mana and Primal Nether, and you can farm these yourself, right? You don't even need to.
Yeah, you just run heroics. Yeah.
That doesn't sound too bad. Just to get this Deep Thunder. Okay. Thunder requires.
Yeah, in the beginning,
you have to get the Nether, which got to be able to roll it off and win it, and hope it's not res. A lot of tanks res the Nether.
Oh, so
yeah, in the beginning you're going to be running a ton of heroics. Just
only
to get
one drop
Nether.
at the end of each heroic.
Yo, that's so nice though. Is Prot Pally? Press Prot Pally. You can run all these dungeons like a monster, right? And then reserve it. You could probably get that pretty quick.
100%. That's literally what I'm trying to get to. If you are a Holy Paladin main, if you're a Ret Paladin main, here's my tip. Mm-hmm. You will tank every dungeon for all of your gear, and you will reserve everything for yourself.
Yep.
100%. Pick up a shield. You're playing Prot. You don't like it. You're playing Prot.
It's so easy.
Just do it. It's so easy.
Yeah,
reserve everything you want. You'll probably be an enchanter too, and you can D everything. You literally can do whatever the hell you want as a Prot Paladin.
Yo, he says that with a cheeky grin.
I'm gonna have a Prot Paladin. That's gonna be my main alt. My main alt is gonna be a Prot Paladin. That's how much fun it is.
So it kind of seems like Prot Paladin's got it nice, man. You can just.
Oh, that's what I'm telling, bro. You're gonna main a Prot Paladin. You just don't know it yet.
Honestly, in the beginning of TBC Classic, I plan on playing Prot mostly, just to get all my Ret gear and all that type of stuff, because Karazhan and in the beginning, Ret's really not that good. You'd rather have the Prot Paladin there.
I see.
Actually, well, I was going to say that I was seeing some on the Kargoz server. Our Ret Pally and T4 pumping.
Oh yeah, you can definitely do a lot of damage, but you got to make sure that you're buffed out of hell, you know, because in 25 man, the amount of buffs that you get in terms of like AP shout, enhancement shaman, all that type of stuff is just a little bit different from 10 man. Yeah.
So let me ask you something then. Let's say that you don't have a play group, as Dr. Kill says. I've been using that term. I like it. It's so nice. But let's say you're solo dolo, right? And classic TBC drops tomorrow, and you have to rise up from the favelas by yourself and, get your gear and all that as Pally. How would you approach it? Like, I don't know if that even makes sense. Like, are you going to hit out the gate blacksmithing, leatherworking? Maybe you have a different combo of professions. That could be some people in the chat, and are you gonna, race up to 70 and then just start spamming? I'll open it up to you guys.
For me, I'm gonna go with blacksmithing first over leatherworking. I know some people, leatherworking in tier 4 and tier 5, it's not as needed as tier 6 and Sunwell. Boo! I hear Kale saying that, but I'm definitely going to rush blacksmithing first. I want the weapon first, but after you get blacksmithing, definitely drop the mining, get the leatherworking. It's definitely good for the raid.
Blacksmithing as a prop pally is I always pick it up because I know Ret's going to be my off spec. And on top of, having a really strong weapon as my off spec, in tier 5, you get to craft boots of the protector. Now it's only one item, but those boots are itemized very, very well for protection paladin. It's just a little bonus. So it's another reason why to go blacksmithing. Holy doesn't really gain anything from blacksmithing other than a strong off spec of their picking, a weapon or some boots or just in general.
Gotcha. So what else? Like week 1, is there anything like, I just really like that tip you said a second ago, right, Kale? That shit's coming from the heart. That's some real talk right there. Like everybody should do that shit, listening. This is like the super hot fire, like, tips right now. They should be taking some notes. I'm taking notes, man.
Like you're going to hit max level, even if you leveled as Ret. So let's say you ding 70, you're in all Ret gear. You're like, well, he said I have to tank. Go to Netherstorm, and every quest is going to have plate spell power item. It's not going to have a lot of stam. It's not going to have any defensive abilities. It's going to have enough gear for you to literally walk in to a dungeon and start tanking. Prop paladin wise, remember, you move 15% faster. You don't have to be as tanky as possible. You can run away. You can run away like a little girl from mobs and take no damage. But because you drop Consecrate, you literally will retain threat. So just get starter. I would say as you're leveling through Outlands, keep a shield, keep a one-handed sword, start keeping some of the plate tank gear. If it's not an upgrade for Ret, try to find an upgrade for Prot. Or if you're leveling as Holy in a play group, I'm going away from what you wanted, but just always have an off spec, always be working. I don't think we're gonna have dual spec in TBC, but you'll still be paying the gold for changing a spec is way less on your character than it is in classic.
Yeah.
Easy to get the gold
because it's not that the cost changes, but you just make so much more gold, right?
Gold. Yep, correct.
It's also smart to run Prot in the beginning just so that you can get a head start on farming and stuff like that. Just get a bunch of head start on the market and stuff like that with dark runes and all that other good stuff.
Is it ever the play to get enchanting, like you were saying though, Kale, to disenchant stuff for extra gold and stuff?
Enchanting, technically, to me, enchanting is Paladin's best profession. It's best in slot for It's best in slot for Holy. It's best in slot for Prot. I would go enchanting leatherworking if I got to pick. I don't go that out the door, but I am that by the time tier 6 is wrapping up.
But so you do go blacksmithing, though, make all the gear, and then you go enchanting after?
Yeah, I mean, enchanting it, I can go enchanting with it, right, if I want, as which I'll probably end up doing. if you're gonna be AoE grinding dungeons, having enchanting literally makes it's like 40% more room in your bags from D'ing greens and blues and things like that. The enchanting mats are gonna be worth a lot, right? You're gonna have things like, if you're going on a fresh server, if it is a possibility, you know, people can't afford Mongoose out the door, so they're gonna want to slap Crusader on their weapon. But oh, okay, now we're into tier 5. Why do I need to farm, vanilla materials? Good question. Well, now the casters want their brilliant wizard oil, which drops from the ZG rep. Guess what that requires? It requires vanilla materials. It does not require TBC materials. And those oils can go anywhere from 10 up to 30, 40 gold per 5 charges. And that's good money. So because that takes 10 seconds to farm.
If TBC Classic was tomorrow, what professions are you launching out the gate with? Like for Ret and then
enchanting,
blacksmithing. Okay, enchanting, blacksmithing for you.
Blacksmithing and mining, and then leatherworking after I get to the 375. Drop the mining.
Okay, blacksmithing, mining, then drop mining for what?
For leatherworking. And this is also, you want to make sure that you get prot out of the way so you can also be farming, so you can pay for actually switching to leatherworking and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
And that's exactly like not grabbing a gathering profession, but yet taking blacksmithing. That means I'm going to be farming. I'm rushing all the way to 70, getting my farm gear ready, and then immediately start farming to pay off my professions.
Exactly.
Because, Blaze can go out in the world and start trying to mine with the other 5 million people, or I can sit in a dungeon, farm gold, and then just buy the materials.
Right. So that's your preferred route. That's why you don't go gathering. So you go blacksmithing, enchanting, and for Kale, you go blacksmithing, enchanting, and then you drop enchanting for something? Or you drop blacksmithing?
I drop blacksmithing eventually for leatherworking when it's mandatory.
That's also my plan if I were to do it on a fresh server.
Gotcha.
Most likely, if we're going to do a continuation server, I'm going to have an alt that's going to have mining. In that case, I'm just going to skip that whole entire mining process, and I'm just going to go blacksmithing and leatherworking right then and there.
Gotcha. Okay.
So on the Holy Paladin side of it, usually, if you want to be the cool guy in the guild, a Holy Paladin is one of those classes that could pick up jewel crafting. Jewel crafting is also decent for prot, as it has some trinkets you have access to. If you need early trinkets, there's a DPS 1-2, the Shadow Panther. So there's some, because you want a guild jewel crafter, and if you're farming the world as a prot paladin, you'll probably come across a lot of those jewel crafting recipes. So don't sleep on jewel crafting either.
So if you love dungeons, Pali's kind of nice, right? Because it kind of seems like you do your farming in the dungeon as opposed to the open world, kind of.
Yeah, you don't have to battle. You're not having to deal. People that farm herbs in Classic, or they're farming or trying to fight over Black Lotus, that kind of goes away in TBC. But you'll still see a lot of engineers trying to get clouds, right, for primals, which will be insanely expensive, or elemental plateau in the Grand will be literally just call it bloodbath zone, because it's literally going to be people killing people over my 2 moats. Please give me my 2 moats. We'll slit your throat for these 2 moats of fire.
Is there still a tank? Is there a tank shortage in TBC? Or is it I don't know, because it seems like Pallies can tank a lot more serviceably now. Maybe it's not as much of a demand. There's always demand.
It doesn't seem. I don't know. It doesn't seem that hard on private servers, but at the same time, we're limited on who we can, who we can run with.
I don't think it's gonna be. I think there's gonna be a lot of paladins.
Yeah,
a lot of paladins.
For sure. Yep. A lot of tanks in general, I think, because I think a lot of the DPS warriors are going to switch to try to tank because they don't want to get rid of their warriors,
What's your go-to dungeon for gold, you think? or heroic, or you said Scholomance, but I mean that can't be the best gold per hour, right? That's there's no way that's the best.
100% is the best.
He wants my secrets. Strathelm, hands down. I don't think anything. I don't think anything's gonna beat Strathelm.
Wait,
Nothing will beat it.
Nothing even in TBC. Nothing in TBC. You're not doing.
I think No, actually, no. I apologize. Yeah, Skolo's better. For sure.
I think Skolo's better, but you guys know more than I do. Skolo, if you're enchanting, right?
Yeah, no.
It drops more dark runes and more gear, but Skolo or Strat drops more rune cloth, and you could fucking mass sell that. Rune cloth is good money. People are gonna be too lazy to farm it.
Skolo is amazing as well, and there's so many dark runes. There's so many rune cloth. It's just fantastic, and I can pull it all in 2 pulls. The ones that really matter, the mobs that really matter. So
oh damn, I can pull it down 12.
You can get I mean you can get it down to 500.
I literally could 1v2 you guys in gold per hour in Strathelm.
1v2 these hands.
I kind of want to see that. I might be down for that.
The 1v2 gold
partner up.
Oh, dude, it would. We could go like.
That's what man Frostadamus said. He could 1v4 all of us, man. I'm telling you. So you're saying vanilla dungeons are the best gold per hour for Paladin?
Yeah. The reason why Scholomance is good, right? They're farming specifically an item called Dark Runes, which is for the bougie people that don't want to farm demonic runes. They just want to go to the auction house. And I have personally bought 500 plus Dark Runes from Blazed.
Hell yeah, brother.
I don't like to go and farm demonic runes, so I would rather just spend my gold on Dark Runes. They're not BOP. And in Strathelm, I'm farming. I get way more raw gold per hour just on how many more mobs I kill, on top of way more rune cloth, large brilliant shards by the thousands, which will always hold their value. They'll probably be super expensive too.
Righteous orbs
and righteous orbs, which will never, honestly, ever lose their money.
That's crazy.
People will always be.
Would you say Strat is easier than Skolo to solo as well?
Yes, because I don't have to deal with silences or mana burns or things like that. They are physical only mobs. When I get to the Righteous Orb side, there's enough physical mobs to keep me healed up with my trinket versus the, 12 casters I run into.
But what about when tier 5 and tier 6 is out? There's no way the Righteous Orb is still good, right? Everybody's going to be getting Mongoose. Why would you ever get Crusaders though?
Yeah, but at that point, then large brilliant shards start going off. They start going up. You're right. Righteous orbs don't. They definitely fall off.
Yeah. Okay. Well, man, that's good to know. So,
push come shove, this is the way I look at it. If I vendor every single item in my bag, and I'm talking you vendor the cloth, you vendor the greens, the epics, right? The skull flame shields, you'll see 100 of them drop. The life stones. You're making 500 to 750 gold an hour.
And when Crix was first telling me about you, Dr. Kale,
whereas in Scholomance, they're literally rolling the dice and hoping for dark runes
and dying.
Yeah, no, you gotta hope. If you get good dark runes, then it's a fantastic money.
But also the thing like that, right? Now I think when I have to reset the dungeon, right? You gotta factor that part in.
Oh yeah.
Or if you do die, the runbacks are pretty bad for both. But just get good and don't die when you're farming. Find the most consistent path with the safest.
You might get lockout on Skolo though too. You gotta do that kind of fast.
Yeah, in Strathelm though, you'll never run into that either.
Exactly.
They're 16, 17 minute runs, and that's even with tier 5 gear.
I kind of like, you know how people say in TBC, or a lot of people think in TBC there's no reason to go back to the old world. The more and more I talk with, all of you guys, it makes me feel like there's actually a good amount. And you're saying people still need ZG stuff, they still need Skolo and Strat stuff. You still need ghost mushrooms. You're saying you still need ghost mushrooms for a lot of stuff, and you can't get that in TBC, right? So.
Oh, and you gotta hit that auction house. There's only a couple places to go for that, baby. You gotta hit the old world.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you'll have alts parked in hinterlands for ghost mushrooms.
Yeah,
for sure, man.
But that'll be the thing, right? If you know those tips and tricks, you're like, all right, I know Hygel's coming out, and I know there's a lot of demons in there. You probably want to start stocking up on
Holy Watsons.
Elixirs of demon slaying.
Oh yeah, those things too. That's another.
That's why ghost mushrooms are valuable. That's literally when we say ghost mushrooms, we're literally talking.
Flask of Supreme Power uses ghost mushrooms as well.
Don't ever say that again. You're a pure death for the rest of your career.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, you trying to say you don't ever fucking touch the Supreme Power, bro? You trying to tell me you don't ever touch a Supreme Power?
I'm prop paladin, of course I do.
Yeah, bro, we fuck with them.
Wait,
Cash me that farm raid. Cash me that caravan.
Supreme Power is only a little bit worse than the best one, right?
10 spell damage worse for 10 gold cheaper, probably.
Yo, if TBC, by the way, so if TBC Classic has where after the last boss in Stratholme, those skeletons that spawn in the hallway, if those drop Black Lotus, then you would definitely be losing.
Why would they drop Black Lotus? What the hell? Drop Black Lotus?
Yeah. They definitely drop a lot of random things. I can't say what they'll drop because on every private server it's different. They definitely drop. They drop odds and end herbs and things like that, and they always drop something random.
That'd be insane. I've never seen them drop Black Lotus Classic. That'd be crazy.
Dude. But remember, like in TBC, Black Lotus get revamped to like easy as hell to farm. They're not. It's not on like they literally become all over.
It's like it goes from like arcane crystals and Black Lotuses being hard to being those are cheap as fuck. You can get them everywhere.
So you can liquidate all your Black Lotus stock right now too. I mean, it's just a thing, you know, because they're gonna lose value massively in TBC. These are just little things that you have to like be playing TBC actively to know, right? What if there's some people sitting on some fat stacks of Lotus right now, feeling like they're gonna be ballers, but
they definitely the Nax hype right now, right? Don't go unload all your Lotus, but wait for the Nax hype to die down a little.
Yeah. Interesting.
I actually think a big thing that a lot of people will bring into TBC in order to make money is going to be iron bars around that area for blacksmithing. It's going to be huge for leveling blacksmithing and stuff like that.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff for JC and stuff too. Like if you understand the path up with JC, I did a JC guide. I didn't release it yet, but I was surprised how much random stuff you need. You know, and I think what was the main one was like silver bars or something. You need a lot of those for JC, and that's a super cheap mat right now for Classic, right? So if you bottle those ahead and knowing people are gonna have to level JC, there's a lot of stuff you could do like that. But anyway, itemization, or not itemization, sorry, gemming. Is there? It could be as simple as I just use all this gem. How do you guys gem as your respective specs?
For red, I mean,
Go ahead. Go with red.
Okay.
I'll do the other two.
All right, I'll got red. So you're going to use the Relentless Earthstorm Diamond. Yeah, that's the 12 agility, the 3% increased critical strike damage. You know, you don't have to always go for socket bonuses. You have to look at each piece of gear that you have. Is a socket bonus good? Does it have strength? Does it have, you know, crit? I mean, does it give hit? Am I over the hit cap? There's tons of different things that you got to look at when gemming and stuff like that. But generally, you'll go for strength and red ones, strength, crit, and yellow sockets, and you should only be using 2 blue gems in your gear as DPS always, and that'll be the strength and stamina one.
Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of how it is generally in TBC, right? Like you do try to make an effort to hit those socket bonuses, you know, and then you have a couple gems that you're trying to slot in there. Gotcha.
And now, sometimes you will have, you know, maybe 3 or 4 yellow gems. That's because your socket bonuses are like 3 strength or 4 strength or something really good, you know. So it's worth putting that in there.
Gotcha. What about you on the prot side, Dr. Kill? Is it you know, all defense, all stam, or a couple? You have to make some choices there?
You are literally you're literally stacking stam. Right. Again, if you're gonna be some crazy spell power threat tank, then of course that would change. But generically, you're a stam whore. You stam up on every piece. You want sockets. You know, in all your gear, like you'll gem, literally pure blue gems on everything, regardless of socket bonus. Unless it's like the socket bonus would be even higher, like. Usually in a helm or something where you can get like 5 or 6 stam on a socket bonus, then sure, you could gem like Enduring, which is defense rating stamina, or glowing spell power stamina. Then sure, you could swing for it.
And you talked about earlier that I think you said prop pallies get something like 12% more effect
16.
from 16% more from stamina. Jeez, that's insane, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about metagems? Is there a couple options there? I know there's usually like 2-3 options or something, right? So
you want the 18 stam, 5% stun resist, and it's pretty much your only option. Even when Sunwell comes out, you have the Isle comes out, and you have the access to the shield block value meta. You're gonna still go 18 stam the whole way through.
Okay.
I don't see. You could do like, again, spell power and 2% intellect when that one comes out. That all depends on whatever crazy meta thing comes out where you're a threat cannon.
It's really useful getting your perspective on how you value stuff, right? I mean, for the people watching, like from the outside looking in, it's like, okay, if I'm playing Prop Pally, I got to stack stam. This man is making it seem like you're not going to be in the wrong if you're doing that. You just go hard
correct.
with the stam.
You literally, right? You just want raw stamina. Because you're going to want to attain, you don't want to be able to be crushed or crit, so you just want to be able to survive some of those hard-hitting hits on bosses.
Gotcha.
And then even in dungeons, if you're farming, stamina's good too, because that Ardent Defender ability kicks in at a higher health pool, and then, you can last out a little longer. But just in general, stam is always the way to go. I wouldn't ever gem defense rating or anything, unless I absolutely needed to hit the defense rating cap, but...
That's a big misconception, though, man. Before talking to a lot of big brands, anybody in the chat, a lot of people's assumption is that you need a lot more defense in TBC, and you just try to stack and get as much defense as possible. But that may not be the case. That's just kind of like an old gross science myth or something. I don't know. That was
the only person that's gonna gem defense rating if it's not you'll gem defense rating if you need it. You got to get to that 490. You have to get there, but you obtain it through gear pretty easily.
Okay.
There's trinkets that'll give you 30 defense rating. There's Prop Paladins have talent that gives them defense rating or defense, so they obtain it pretty easily.
What about on the red side of things? Is there any decision to be made with metagem, or is it the type of thing it's just one is the clear winner forever as well?
One is going to be the clear winner, honestly. I mean,
what do you mean, dude? Thundering. Chance to increase melee attack speed. Let's go!
Some people mess around with that, but I honestly don't. I mean, if the fight is 15 seconds, then yeah, maybe Thundering is probably okay. But yeah, Relentless is what you're going to go for. I mean, you're critting a lot as a Rep Paladin. That's one of your main things. So the increased critical strike damage is just great for the...
What is it? What is the... Oh, I can pull it up. What was it called again?
I think it's Relentless Earthstorm Diamond. Correct me if I'm wrong, Judy. Yeah.
Oh, but here's the thing with TBC, a lot of stuff isn't going to be there on launch, right? Too. That's a weird thing about because people have to discover these things, right? And it's this is Consortium Exalted. Oh, okay.
It's going to be a while before that's going to be one of the hardest metagems, I think, because getting Consortium Exalted is kind of annoying to get.
Yeah. Without the prison keys being out on launch, Consortium's annoying to get.
So you might have to use something else for a little while, for a month or so, or a couple weeks.
You'll use the PvP one, the attack power movement speed one, even though it doesn't stack with the Pursuit of Justice. I think you'll use that one.
Is that the one you get from the Terracar? You turn in the spirit shards or something?
You could, yeah. Spirit shards. Yep.
Gotcha.
And with how often you'll be running dungeons, you don't have to go get the towers. People will be fighting over them all the time. Eventually when you hold the towers, you'll be running plenty of Shadow Labs. If you're a Prop Paladin, you're going to live in Sethic Halls until you get your Libram. So you'll have plenty of chances to pick up Spirit Shards.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Whereas the Prop Pally one, powerful Earthstone, I think it's just trained. Or it's super, it could be a world drop, but it's super easy to obtain.
Gotcha. So maybe we can switch gears to talk about something we haven't talked about at all yet, which is PvP. Now, a lot of people think, and I'm sort of in this boat, but I don't know, maybe I'd like to be enlightened here a little bit. You think that Paladins I don't know what to think with people. So like holy paladins in particular, I've talked with multiple like multi-glad type, you know, folks who have just live this stuff. You know, people like Navik and Swifty, and they feel like holy paladins are super predictable in the arena, and you know, it's easy. You know, they're gonna bubble. They have to be stationary and cast the heal, and they're just easy to play around. You know, if you had to push rating as a paladin in TBC, what spec would you play? What comp would you play? And why? What are your thoughts on that?
Alright, well, here's the deal, is like, if you're a prop pally or a holy paladin, by the way, best in slot weapon is that mace. So, if you're gonna try hard, die hard, prop pally PvE, you need to get that weapon. You need to get 1850 in arena and get that weapon.
Okay.
So there's something to just chomp on in the meantime. If I'm playing a holy paladin in arena, by the way, I'm playing like the shock it in. I'm playing super aggressive, run in there, shock, stun, you know, push damage as hard as I can. So maybe run like holy paladin, warlock, mage, like some crazy where you know those other two classes can survive by themselves pretty decently, where then so can a shock it in. They technically can survive pretty well on their own. They have high crit chance.
Yo, you can heal too with the shock.
From the holy paladin.
That's pretty nice, you know, because
you can sling. I mean, we haven't really talked a lot about holy paladins, but you can sling flash of lights. So when it comes to arena, I would play something very gimmicky, and honestly, I think that would be fairly strong. That'd be really good against RMP, which is going to be super popular.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's tough to
Warlock,
get off casts in
Paladin
arena,
is
but
going to be
shock is nice, man. You can heal your partner, and there's no way to, you know, kick or interrupt that or anything like that. That's super nice.
Yeah, but I mean, shock. If you're playing a true shock in that comp, you're using that offensively.
Offensively, okay.
I mean, you're gonna be a. It would be nothing for a holy paladin to do burst 4 or 5k damage. You know, maybe 3 to 5k damage. Because that holy shock on their first holy shock, they're probably going to use their crit ability and 100% chance crit. They're gonna hurt you.
Gotcha. Have you ever gone up against that, Crix? Or any kind of shock it in?
No, not that I know of. I haven't. On Endless, there's a paladin over there that keeps dusting me off. Other than that, on Kargoz, you don't really see a lot of paladins, and if I do, they kind of get wrecked a little bit. I have been Wind Fury KO'd before. I'm not gonna lie. I have lost to a red paladin before. I've seen BGs and I pick on them, and they've turned around and shot me a couple times.
Happens,
I respect the red paladin, just not that much.
So you would do holy.
The difference that when we're go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry, man. I was just saying, if you had to push rating, you're going holy. Shock it in, that would be your preferred route. You know, up to 1850.
No, I go red.
No, red.
But you go red? Okay.
I just wanted to more talk about holy because I feel like we're ignoring it a little, but holy in twos wouldn't be. That would not be fun. Because warrior druid is so common, and it's just gonna dumpster you.
Red with the Wind Fury in arena.
Druid rogue is gonna just dumpster you. Like, it would be just.
I feel like as a paladin, you always have to run with the shaman, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like shaman gets hard countered by warlocks, and there's gonna be a lot of warlocks in the meta for arena when TBC Classic comes out, making it harder for ret.
I just think like if Ret Pally globals your pet, right? And they will too.
Yeah,
you don't have holy resistance. They're going to drop your pet in a global, and then at that point, it's your job to keep your pet alive. Because if a warlock without a pet, we will focus their ass down, and we'll actually be like, "All right, now we'll play."
It takes everything out of the game. It makes you it's the worst thing that can happen to me.
Watching a warlock hard cast a pet because I've global it 2 times in a row. I'm just sitting there like,
and then you take the spell dom away, so we can't even use spell dom, bro.
Yeah, because the exorcism little wombo combo just blasts her, right?
Remember, I'm an undead warlock too, and their exorcism and shit works for undead, yeah.
No, it doesn't work on the humans, but on the pets though.
Oh, thank God! That
only your pet.
So bad.
Yeah.
That would suck.
We should have that though.
Yeah, you should petition for that. It'd make it better.
So what about you, Blaze? If you had to push, well, I mean, you play a ret. Like, it's not even a stretch for you. Like, this is your thing.
Yeah.
What is your preferred arena comp?
I'm gonna go Ret. I'm gonna go in my 2s. I'm gonna go Ret and R Shaman, and then my 3s. I'm gonna go Ret, MS Warrior, and R Shaman. I absolutely love Wind Fury with a Ret. It's just too much fun.
Okay.
I would do same 2s. My 3s would be Ret, Hunter, Priest.
Ret, Hunter, Priest. Okay.
Yep. Double defensive dispel. Ret doing enough burst, Hunter finishing the kill usually. And then you have Hunter Priest, which is a respectable 2v2 drain comp. I think Ret just is there to bop the Priest. And, you know, maybe just put enough pressure to have the Hunter kill, probably.
So you'd have to still have an MS effect.
I don't
with the Hunter's
like
aim
running
shot.
the melee cleave is fun, but like running up against RMP is what I'd be most afraid of. Whereas a Hunter, like I'm literally just playing like, all right, RLD, RMP, and I'm like, all right, I need to counter that, and a Hunter is a really good counter to both of those. I would feel safer running with a Hunter and sacrificing my own Wind Fury damage.
Just a BM Zug Zug Hunter? Or are you thinking marksmanship or survival? Or
Right, you go up against RMP, only one of you can be sheeped at a time, right? So then the priest will dispel you, or you'll dispel the priest. You're now taking the mage out of the aspect, and guess what counters a mage in TBC? Well, Hunter 1000%. They eat mages alive. They'll make the mage play on their back foot rather than the mage like running around CCing and shattering people.
I see. So one thing that's interesting, what Blaze said though, he said for his 2s, Resto, Shaman, Ret. So my understanding hearing about Ret and 2s is that, oh, you have to go like double DPS as a Ret and 2s, and you just try to blast someone down. But it doesn't seem like that may not be the case from your perspective, Blaze, that you think that they can go the distance with the healer and, you know, what do you think about that?
They can absolutely go the distance with the healer. I mean, through dispels and just, you know, pressuring just over time and waiting for someone to fuck up. Or sorry, I apologize.
No, okay.
Waiting for someone to mess up. You can really punish somebody. You know, it's fantastic. You know, Ret with a Wind Fury is just so much fun to watch the crits.
Yeah. Do you have some comps you feel like you do well against as Resto, Shaman, Ret?
Honestly, anything with the Warlock or anything with the Warrior just gives me trouble, just because I hate, you know, honestly fighting them in an arena. And then, you know, when you get into 3s and then you play Warrior Lock Druid, it's just not fun to play against them. You know, but in terms of those two, I mean, that's about it, honestly. The Druid can get out of hand, especially if you don't give them justice quick enough and they run away. So
that's pretty nice. Gotcha. Makes sense. So you think that you can, you know, Ret can go the distance? You think you could get, you know, the highest titles and get Gladiator and stuff potentially with Ret? Or do you feel like, you know, Paladin might have a bit of a ceiling here?
No. I mean, I don't think you can get the highest titles. You could definitely get a decent rating.
You're getting 2K, you're getting 2.1, 2.2.
Yeah.
Right, I'll put it this way. You could get Gladiator, but it's I don't see it ever happening in 2s or 3s, but in 5s, 100% you could probably do it. What? You could do Ret, Warrior, Enhanced, Priest, Druid. Yes, 100%. Guess what? TBC 5s literally give the most possible arena rating. You 100% will see a lot of people doing 5s.
So you're doing 5s?
Just because Endless doesn't have 5v5, don't sleep on it.
Is that your best bet?
I'm not even the Ret Paladin at... Yes, 100%.
Okay. All right,
most points. He gives me less points than 3s less than 5s.
I'm gonna fight for that, dude. I don't even play Ret Paladin, but I ain't gonna. It would have to be in 5s. There's no way you're gonna. Listen. I'll eat my hat if I find out a Ret Paladin got Gladiator in 2s or 3s. I would.
There's no way.
Eat my hat.
Hell yeah.
But there's no way it's gonna happen.
I'll tell you what, Blaze should, since he's streaming his Ret Paladin all the time, he should start working on a fucking fat arena push.
Blaze is like challenge accepted. Let's go.
Hella people would watch that, dude. Get it.
But I mean, the reason.
As you can.
Let me kind of bring us back into reality here. There are things. Ret Paladins will use the Vengeful Gloves in PvE. It gives them 5% Crusader Strike damage. Like a flat 5% damage to Crusader Strike.
Yep.
You have
season 4 ones right now.
So you have things like a Holy Paladin. You have 2 different types of healing. You have a Holy Light Holy Paladin, and you have a Flashlight Holy Paladin when it comes to PvE. They're gemmed differently, they're itemized differently, but a flashlight Holy Paladin 100% would need the PvP gloves because it gives them 2% flashlight crit. So there are some, again, the reason you'd catch my ass in arena is I'm in there to get PvE upgrades.
Absolutely.
So, and I push that on my guild pretty hard. Crix, you know.
Oh God.
So when I
got punished.
Take the free upgrades.
I don't know when you're streaming a lot, Crix. People ask questions about classes and balance, and what's it like in TBC. Some people ask about paladins in TBC, and on the PvP side of things, they do have a bit of a ceiling here. It seems, like I guess you have the 5s caveat, but it is, you're kind of the underdog in PvP. It seems like all of the more and more we talk about it, there it is.
Unless some big brain, how Classic came out and there's new metas and stuff. I mean, unless there's some, but Kale would know. The difference is he would know if there's some secret, something. They both would know if there's some secret thing. Unless there's some shit that we don't know about where they can come in and big dig.
Yeah.
Your hopes of Gladiator might be shy.
So if you're super into PvP, you want to live, breathe, eat, sleep the arena, right? That might be a consideration, right? Maybe Pally may not be the play for TBC, but maybe you want that challenge.
Pally.
Just throwing it out there, yeah.
If you're truly chasing Gladiator, it'll have to be a melee cleave comp, and you'll have to play 5s. You will.
In the beginning, right when it launches too, where people are still trying to figure out their
doesn't matter. Season 1 through Season 4, you're playing 5s if you're shooting for Gladiator. RMP gets stronger, and when Blaze is saying he'd play with a Resto Shaman, I don't even see that being viable in Season 1. There's just not enough resilience there.
No, absolutely
There's not enough resilience there for the Resto Shaman to survive. So maybe Season 2, Season 3 is where you'll see Ret Pally, Resto Shaman start to kind of come out.
Ret really isn't that good in Season 1, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, right? So there are comps that are gated by seasons when certain resilience levels reach enough resilience.
I see. What about just the path forward once you start raiding and stuff? This is on this front. Do you think paladins scale decently well moving into the later stages of the TBC life cycle, moving into tier 6 and beyond?
So
anything happens to them?
Paladins are one of those players, like even from Holy, more so on the ret side, the more effort you put into your character, you can shine. You really can shine. If you're showing up to your first Gruul's Lair with Deep Thunder or Lionheart Champion, and you've got, a Bloodlust Brooch and in the Trinket out of Black Morass, the Rage of the Unraveler, you're going to pump, and you're going to be in the top 5-6 damage. Of course, as the other classes and Warlocks and Hunters start getting more geared, or Beast Lord sets, or Spell Strike sets, you'll start to fall down, but you'll still shine. Prop Paladins, you pretty much, you just got to get as much stam as possible, and if some crazy metas where you need more threat, then you can probably get some spell power pieces.
Gotcha. What's your take on it, Blaze? Do you think you're like a fine wine, you appreciate and get stronger, later in the cycle? And also, just a very simple question to you, like, do you love playing Ret? Is it just like, what do you like about it if you do?
Yeah, it's an absolute fine wine, man. I tell you what, you can go in. It's just 2-hand DPS. It's just so much fun seeing a big smack. That's kind of why I love Ret as well. Seal twisting is a lot of fun. It's just an interactive rotation compared to, I'm not trying to call it my man, on the Hunters or on the Warlocks, but they kind of just sit there and do one button. If you're trying to have a little bit more fun, then you can play a melee and try and do a top damage in the raid.
You imagine Crix in melee? Holy shit!
Hey, my god!
Holy shit!
I'm already living in melee. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
sneak attack.
But if you like Kale said, if you put a lot into your character as Ret, you will see a lot of damage. It can produce a lot of damage. You need to stay on top of it. You need to stay on top of the professions. You need to stay on top on your enchants, your consumables, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, my roommate during TBC, his name was Jose. He played a Ret, and I'll tell you what, I was always jelly looking at his character. It's a very flashy looking character. Just the abilities, the animations, the way Crusader Strike looks. Never forget when I first saw that ability, right? The Frisbee. You know, I'm looking at the tier sets right now. You know, tier 4 looks a little bit sussy right there at the Justicar, but Crystal Forge looks looks pretty nice. Lightbringer looks pretty sweet. You know, I just definitely one of the flashier classes. I think that seems pretty fun to play.
Don't worry. A Ret Pally's never gonna look like any of those tier sets. Blaze can confirm that.
Oh yeah.
You'll never wear tier gear as a Ret Pally ever.
Oh no way.
The only tier that I would wear is the 2-set tier 4. That's the only tier that you would wear in the beginning. Just to have a little bit more spell damage on your.
Don't tell me wear a dress, bro. Don't tell me wear a dress.
No, they wear leather.
Okay. Regretfully, in the beginning, if you need hit, pre-raid, you know, and tier 4 and up to tier 5, you have to wear cleft hoof hide leggings if you need hit. If you are good on hit cap, you can wear Shattrath leggings. So try to get hit wherever you're at, because you don't want to be wearing a dress. You don't want to be doing that.
I knew it, bro. I knew it. The game always puts you in a dress.
If you want to look like those tier sets, you have to play Prop Paladin or Holy Paladin.
All right, done,
they
dude.
Both
Prop Pally.
all those pieces.
Clip it and ship it. Wrap it up, boys. It's Prop Pally all day.
Crystal. It's funny is out of all those sets, the one in the middle, tier 5, is itemized the best for Prop Pally.
I see. As a quick aside, you know, tier 2, which is the set everybody loves, Judgment set. If you play Prop Pally in TBC, in Classic, that's the only spec where that actually becomes a nice little balance of stats, because you know you don't have to itemize aggressively as a Prop Pally. You just want a good balance of stats, right? Because all your threats coming from G-Box spam. So that was really cool to see that you can wear the full Judgment set viably in Classic, as a quick aside, if you want to go Prop Pally. But yeah. So then tier 6, you wear that as Prop Pally, Kel?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
You don't wear the... Unfortunately, like, if you get the Illidan helm, you don't have the crown, but you got the rest.
Gotcha.
And you get the car door shield, the spike shield.
Oh yeah, that thing is legit right there. No
Blaze
word
just
leg,
got
though.
that too.
Yeah, that thing is...
Hell yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Love it.
Yeah. And you were saying that you know, the melees, people say that the melees in the late game, you know, when they get expertise and armor pen and stuff, they start to get better and better. So I assume that affects Ret Paladins too. You just start to keep up with the hunters and the casters and stuff.
People think the player, or you know, the gear gets better. The fights get better for melee.
For sure.
As much as like a Shard of Contempt fixes a lot of expertise issues, and the Isle brings out awesome badge gear, and ZA releases an awesome trinket and stuff, the fights get way more melee friendly than tier 5.
And it seems
tier
like
5
a lot of low
brutal on melee.
There's a lot of running
there are.
and AoE in tier 5. That's kind of why melees don't really shine as well as, you know, a mage or a warlock or, you know, a hunter.
Does the low armor on the bosses help drastically? Is that a big help for you guys?
Of course.
Absolutely.
If a boss took increased shadow damage like Mother, does that help you, Crix?
Yeah, how much is it on the melee? Is there a number for that? A percentage, like how much it helps?
I mean,
there's different armor values on bosses. 7,700 is your most common. Like in Hyjal, they're all 7,700 except Anatheron.
No, actually in Hyjal is all 6,200.
Oh yeah, they're all low, right? But I think I feel like Anatheron's the lowest. Anyways, I don't know. I melee him for a while.
We'll consult Philip's spreadsheets.
Yeah, Philip will tell us. Anyways, but yeah, armor value, like everybody on ROS, right? You see hunters doing like 4k DPS and higher. When they have no armor, it's hilarious. Ret Pallies also can one-shot themselves, not knowingly, too.
Been there.
Yeah, I mean, there's just...
There was one raid you were talking about.
What?
I feel like it was you. You were saying that a lot of the fights ends up being demons or undead too. So that's actually a real consideration. Just the fact that you can use exorcism and some of those tools as well.
Yep.
Yeah. All the 4 bosses of Karazhan, more than half of Black Temple, and most of Sunwell's undead or demons.
Dude, that's so nice.
It's T6. Pretty much T6 becomes exorcism friendly.
So you're just spamming that on cooldown, Blaze?
Right, pump.
Yeah.
Well,
Prot and Ret.
Yeah, I'll be using it. I will only use it if, obviously if it's undead or demon. But if my judgment's on cooldown, if my Crusader Strike is on cooldown, if I'm not about the twist, I'll use Exorcism. If there's more than like 3 mobs, I'll actually put down Consecrate instead. I kind of hate Exorcism because it can get resisted, and I seem to get it resisted a ton while I'm playing on mine, honestly.
Is it mana heavy?
I mean, it's kind of mana heavy, but I have no mana problems. Like, I can sit there and I can do all my spells. And sometimes I'm hitting max rank Consecrate the whole time, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
Whereas, as Prot, right? What's the one thing we have that Red doesn't have? We have Spell Power. Spell Power makes it hit harder.
Ooh.
So of course, I will be hitting Exorcism on cooldown if possible.
Helps with threat a lot, you think? Good amount.
It's really nice. Like even in Karazhan, it's really nice for snap threat. Like Morose, right? The horse and the guy, they mount up immediately. It will Exorcism. Immediately get threat. There's multiple times where it's really nice to have.
Gotcha. Well, let's open it up to questions now, guys. We got through all of the. We made some pretty good timing. I think it was. Got through a lot, man. We did. I mean, farming, raiding, PvP, professions. Now's your chance, folks. If you plan on having an alt pally, if you're planning to main pally, you got 2 of the biggest brains in the universe right now, right here for you. So go ahead and drop any questions you have in the chat. We'll wait for him to fill up. Crix, you got anything for him? Any questions you've been dying to ask him while we wait?
No, I've honestly been cutting people off and throwing them out as I get them. Love you guys.
Oh no,
I've been asking them as I get them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I guess for Prot, someone asked us earlier, what's a couple things that you compared to you versus other tanks, something that in your toolkit that you can't live without that the other tanks don't have, and then also something that you'd wish you had that the other tanks do have that you don't, if that makes sense.
Talking like in their kit, cooldowns and stuff.
Specifically on like Warrior Druid.
I'll put it this way, I would never trade any one of my abilities, right? Like I wouldn't, I gain shield wall but I lose bubble or something. I would never do that. I would like a last stand. Shield wall would just be too overpowered. But like having an HP increase would be nice.
Would you trade the Frisbee for it? Seems like you don't like the Frisbee that much.
I would trade the Frisbee for Thunderclap.
Oh my god, bro.
Could you imagine a prop paladin that could slow their attack speed too?
Damn.
And the reason why would I trade Thunderclap? Because if I'm AoEing mobs, I would rather have the 100 mobs hitting me attack slower.
Yeah. And you're never gonna get that demo shot
off. I think T-Clap has a cap though, right? Doesn't T-Clap only hit like 5 targets or something though?
I mean, I'm a prop paladin. If Consecrate's on cooldown, I'm spamming Thunderclap.
There you go. So a good question here coming out from RJG. Thanks for the question, man. He's asking, what items from Classic would you recommend bringing into TBC? Now, there's going to be a long list here. Don't even get Dr. Kill started on this. I'll be here for an hour and a half just talking about it. Maybe some of the top ones, like we're talking maybe top 5 or items from Classic that you would want to bring in.
You want me to keep it to 5?
Yeah, he can go off, guys. Like, he has, look at his bag. It's all classic stuff. But, yeah, maybe 5 or 10, whatever. You don't even have to get into every explanation.
Swiftness Potion is number 1.
Faps.
Immolation Oil. Dark Rune.
What about gear? So we'll take what consumables out. Just
okay.
Gear. Let's say gear.
Okay.
We talked, any rings and trinkets you were talking about, because we talked about it earlier, too. What were you talking about earlier with them?
So yeah, there's a resistance trinket in Nax that I would like if I'm gonna solo tank Hydros. I would really like that one. There's a
Mark
tank trinket. Yeah, Mark of the Champion.
Which one is that again?
That's the one for Undead and Demons. 85. Well, I don't know what it is for attack power. 85 spell power. Undead Demons.
Oh,
yeah, it gives a lot of
150 attack power. I think.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Are you talking about Kiss of the Spider? Kiss of the Spider is a really good tank trinket as well.
Kissless, isn't that the haste one?
I'm linking it to you, yeah.
Yeah, that's the haste one, the Kiss of the Spider. But the Mark of the Champion one is the spell power and attack power to the undeads.
Gotcha. What about like Skull Flame?
Like in the black. Again, it'll probably be capped with how much damage it does. But if it does decent healing, then maybe the Skull Flame shield will be decent.
There's that one with 100%
You could
block
also use
chance
the
too.
Swargar
That other
shield.
shield. Oh, Swargar. Yeah. What about on the red side blast? That blast anything that you would want? Nax gear.
Slayer's Crest, baby.
Yeah, Slayer's Crest.
Slayer's Crest is literally Bloodlust Brooch. This is why I don't like Nax gear in TBC. Why would you go get Bloodlust Brooch when you have Slayer's Crest? It's like 6 less attack power for 41 badges.
Yeah, it's 8 attack. It's 8 attack power and 18 for the on use. Is all it is.
Yeah, it's like
damn.
It's minimal.
Upgrade, no point. Yeah.
And
PvP is
Bloodlust
still pretty good
Brooch
for a lot of melee too.
Bloodlust Brooch is a legendary item. I don't even like. I'm a small brain TBC guy, but I still remember that item, dude. That item was so legendary. Bloodlust Brooch, yeah. So Slayer's Crest.
Oh, it's just you get Badges of Justice farm. You get it from Badges of Justice.
Yeah, you buy it from the middle guy in the chakra, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
What is the there's like a reflective shield out of Molten Core. That's usually
isn't that an engineering
the
shield?
reflective disc. Yeah, that one I'm pretty sure will always be good too.
Yeah, you use that with the other shield, right? In combo, the Wombo combo with them, right? You get 100% block and then you swap to it. Yeah.
You could, yeah. I mean, that's tryharding if it doesn't just immediately break it. I don't know how fast it'll lose.
You need like 3 or 4 of them.
How fast? Yeah. Oh yeah. Then maybe I don't know if as long as it's worth.
Yeah.
Using it.
Disc?
Yeah, Force Reactive Disc, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there's this one shield that you get from like a Western Plaguelands quest or something. It's a blue shield and it
yeah, the Scarlet Defender.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Alright, I think that's it, guys. That we got through a lot. Again, yo, thank you so very much for your time. Really, really appreciate it. I learned a shit ton. One's in the chat if you learned a shit ton.
Ooh.
Like follow these guys, people, if you can. You know, once TBC comes, it's gonna be their day in the sun. Everybody's gonna be, you know, these guys are gonna
one
be
more
like,
thing real quick before you we're supposed to mention at the beginning, but I forgot. The Paladin, we didn't start it, but the Paladin TBC Classic Discord is active. It's been active for quite a while, a month or 2 or so.
Oh, okay. You want to link it?
It's just the Paladin Discord. Yeah, I'm gonna link it a bunch. This is strictly Paladin for TBC.
Okay.
A lot of the differences in why these TBC servers are starting is because a lot of the classic Discords are not allowing anybody to talk about private server stuff because it's TOS. So that is for the Paladin Discord TBC, where you'll find Blaze and both of these guys are big brains on there. They're vets on there.
Oh hell yeah, that's awesome, man. That is awesome. And yo, I'm telling you, like, even if you're not gonna main Pally, it's gonna be like the mage of TBC, you know. So pretty much, like, everybody's gonna have one. So you should probably learn this stuff about Pally. So then you're gonna be prepared when the time comes. With that said, any final words, Blaze? Man, it was so good having you on, dude. There's a question here. Why is Blaze so cute? You know, Blaze over here, just with all the fans.
Oh, dude, I don't know. I'd probably give that to my mama. She's probably the one who helped me out on that one.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, guys?
No, I love it, man. Thank you guys for coming, man. I really do appreciate it, bro. As always. Pretty sure we'll see you guys again.
Roll Paladin. Roll Ret. That's what I'm saying.
Nah,
that's what I'm saying.
Dude, nah, dude.
Yeah.
Based in Red Pilled Prop Pally.
Absolutely.
Nobody shilling for the Holy Pally. You hate to see it. Alright, folks.
Well, there's a reason why we got a Ret and a Prot in here instead of a Holy Paladin, right?
Yep. So we will we'll talk to you guys next week. Tricks, we're down to do an episode next week. We'll try to, you know, we've been
we're back on every week, man.
Yeah, every week, man.
We're back.
So we're gonna host my man Salve Dali. He's gonna hook you up with some super hot fire classic content. I'm sure he's doing big brain stuff. Say hi to Salve for me. And until next time, folks.